Hey guys, it's me, Brandon Lewis. I am making a follow up video 2 years following making the first, and I felt like it's been a lot of time since then, so I'd kind of wanted to follow up and tell you guys what's going on, where I've been, and if it was the right decision for me. The reason I want to make this video is I've been getting hit up and people wanting to connect following my first video of whether or not they should leave, and I thought that with the request, I should also make a video talking about where I'm at. Because not only I've been in that situation. I remember being a medical student, working through um, the decision process of like what I want, what's going on, whether it's the right decision, whether it's a temporary feeling, or if it's a real one that I need to really listen to. And what helped me was seeing some videos about why people left, feeling kind of reaffirmed, and the thought process, and also the follow-ups of what you left, now what, like, is it worth it, was it like the jump, like did you succeed, did you not, what did you learn? um and so I want to kind of touch on those topics and to kind of give, I guess, peel back the layers of what's been going on. And just to preface, it's not much, to be honest. Like, it's been 2 years, but it's gone by quick. But I'll kind of just start with, like, I guess, why I left. If you haven't seen the video, I'd recommend watching that one first if you haven't. But essentially, I left because medicine, I just didn't have a passion for it. And I think obviously it's really difficult. But if in my opinion, if you don't have to struggle if you don't love something. Like, I think if you're going to, you should enjoy the potential end result. Like, I was just pushing myself for a reward that I didn't feel like was worth it. And I think if you're gonna push yourself to those limits, um, you better hope you love the reward, or like feel like you're going to. And in my head, I didn't think I was going to. And so, yeah, if you want to watch the full context of like how I made that decision, um, I'd recommend going checking that out. But yeah, I guess to just kind of summarize where I'm at is, I'm a software engineer. I knew that was the path I was going to take as soon as I left medical school. I took a class in college that I really enjoyed. It was the one class I ever took in college. Sorry, I'm on a desk and it's shaking. But it was the one class I took in college that I remember really, really loving the work. I had never ever loved to do homework. I had never ever loved classwork. I never felt like I was intrigued by it, enjoyed it, wanted to learn more. I just would do it because that's the thing you do in school, is you go to class, take notes, study hard, take the test, get good grades. Like, that was my mindset towards school, and that's the only thing I ever felt was just doing the work, and it always felt like work. The one class that didn't was CSE. I think it was 401 or something like that. I don't remember the exact 411. Computer science at UW, and I loved it. It was so fun. I loved it was almost like doing a puzzle. There's creativity involved. I just remember really enjoying. I was playing football. We have a game on Saturday. I'd spend my whole flight doing the homework, the whole Sunday the next day doing the work, and I would love the homework. And that to me spoke to me, and I'm like, dang, like, if I ever didn't want to do medical school, I know that I liked this. And so that was a seed that was already planted back in my head back when I was a junior in college. It was already too late to pursue it, because I mean, I just did it as a fun class on the side. But at that point, I already been in school going on 3 years, and at that, it was too late to try to pursue something different. At least in my head, that's what I thought. So I stuck with going to the medical school route. But ended up, when I dropped out, pursuing medicine, or pursuing software engineering. Went to a boot camp, did really well, and got a job a month after the boot camp. I guess I want to take a step back though and kind of talk about like the feelings like right after and what I went through. Because some of you may be in that position now, or eventually, or thinking about putting yourself in the position. So, I personally, I just talk from a personal level. Right when I left, um, I felt relieved. Obviously, like, you're not in medical school. You think that's the source of all your pain, right? Like, the hint, it's probably not, but because I'll talk about that later. But you think that's the source of all your pain, and so I'm letting this thing of with all this weight go. and now I'm free to fly and live my life. So the first, I'd say 4 months, I left, or I guess 6 months, I left in um, July of 2022 and got a job in January 2023. The first 6 months personally were great. Like, I was relieved. I was back to basically being a regular, like, student, I guess. I only had to worry about studying and whatever in the boot camp, and it was really easy. I didn't have to worry about my grades. Obviously, I worked hard and wanted to learn, but there was no like this extra level of pressure to be like perfect, right? But there was different kinds of pressure, but it was pressure that I was putting on myself, not pressure that is gonna impact the rest of my life. But I worked really hard. I think the one thing about being a medical student is that you know how to do the work, you know how to be great, because you got into medical school. You've done something that's one of the most difficult things to do, and so no matter what you put your mind to, if you want to go pursue plumbing, if you want to go pursue some type of any other industry, you're probably going to succeed because your baseline is still really freaking good. But if you are energized and really want to put the work in, you're going to be great. And so, yeah, in tech in the boot camp, I did really well. So personally, I felt good. I was relieved. I was ready to work hard, and ready to justify my decision. Essentially, like, okay, like I told myself that I'm going to leave and succeed. Let's do it now. And so, yeah, personally, I felt good, but that didn't mean I didn't feel any other feelings. Like, I remember telling my parents I was leaving and telling them I'm going to live with them, or asking if I'm going to live with them. And with that, I remember just feeling a lot of shame of, you guys worked really hard to put me in a situation to go to medical school. I was on full ride. And so telling them I'm kind of throwing that away and then living with them and taking that jump was scary. I did feel internally relieved, but from a societal and family perspective, I felt a little bit of shame and a little bit of worthlessness, I guess. I remember that, like, I think I talked about it in the video, my first video, of like this badge of honor you carry when you're doing something cool. Like, I always had it. I was really smart in high school, was on the football team, got scholarships for football. I went to medical school at full ride. So I always had like this badge of honor, like, look at me, look what I did. I got a scholarship. I'm going to medical school. I'm going to be a doctor. And that badge was kind of taken away from me. It was taken away from me. I gave it away. And when you go your whole life walking with that badge on, that shiny badge, it says how cool you are, and it's taken away, it's humbling. It really is. You are now what you feel like, for me at least. Maybe I was just too arrogant back then, but like, you feel humbled, you feel regular. And that's a healthy, I guess, realization to have, because you're not special. Like, you're just a human being. But to go feeling like you're somebody special to like now you're just a normal person was a difficult transition. It was difficult to feel like I'm disappointing my parents. It was difficult to feel like I had to explain to my friends why I left and why I feel like it was the right decision. Because from an optics perspective, from someone that doesn't personally go through it, it looks like you're making the wrong one. You have the ability to be a doctor, to succeed, to provide for your family. You're not going to have any debt. You're at one of the best schools in the country. I went to Kaiser Permanente. I didn't share that in the last video, but I think it's okay to share. Went to Kaiser Permanente School of Medicine. It's not quite one of the best schools, but it's definitely the hardest one to get into. I don't know how they're performing from like a match perspective, but I know it's really hard to get into, and obviously Kaiser's a very reputable brand. So to go to a school like that and have the opportunity to graduate without debt and to be something that society values, your friends are going to think that's weird. And so, although I felt relief from making the decision, I felt different types of feelings from jumping back into society as somebody that's not in medicine. And so, but with that, it ended up being okay. Like, it's fine. Like I said, it's healthy. It's a healthy realization to be like, you know what? I am human. I am not special. Like, you're just a regular person, and you should not feel like your value is dependent on the things that you do. Because at the end of the day, those things can be taken away. And so why would you want to put your eggs in this thing that can be taken away? Um, and so the transition was smooth, but not at the same time. Smooth from I felt like I was convicted. I didn't have any regrets in leaving because I was so convicted in why I was doing it, but I definitely felt feelings. There were definitely unexpected feelings that came with leaving. But with that, like I said earlier, like I think that if you do decide to leave, you will succeed as long as you are willing to put that work in. Like in as a medical student, you're used to putting that work in. So like I said before, I don't have any regrets about leaving, but I definitely have reflected a lot about my time there. Um, I a lot of the things that I struggled with are things that I struggled to this day currently. And I'm definitely working through them. And in the moment back then in medical school, I just didn't have the self-awareness that I do now. And I don't know if that comes with maturity or time, or just now that I have more actual time to sit and reflect, that it's come to this realization. But like, I really struggled and still to this day struggle with self-doubt, lack of confidence. And I thought that it was big bad medicine that was doing it to me. I thought it was like, all right, once I leave this field, I'm going to be this perfect person. All my worries are going to go away. And that just wasn't the case. I felt confident immediately after leaving, like, oh, I'm going to. But as soon as I jumped back into the professional world, a lot of the things that I struggled with in medical school followed me. And it's my biggest regret is that I was my worst enemy. I let I made medical school harder than it should have been. I told myself I couldn't. I told myself I can't. I had all this negative self-talk about you look this way, you look that way. I had this really bad internal dialogue that I still am working through processing and getting better at overcoming. I think there's multiple reasons for why that is. I think one is being specifically like a black man in medicine. Um, you come up when you get into medical school as somebody that's African American. Um, you are. I feel like if since there's so much dialogue around affirmative action and DEI, I felt, I can't speak for other black people, but I felt as if other people judge you for it, as if you got in because you're black. You didn't get in because you were qualified. You didn't get in because of your ability. You got in because you were just one of the better black applicants. And so with that comes this pressure to feel like you belong, or not feel, but like justify that you belong. Like I was a great student. My GPA was okay. I had a 3.45. I was a math major, played football, went to one of the best universities in the country, in the world, University of Washington. I got a 5.10 on the MCAT, which was like, I think 90th percentile. So like I had proved to myself that I was capable, but I still felt as if I needed to prove to other people that I'm capable. Like, and with that, I'd question everything I said. I wasn't like I didn't do a lot of research. I wasn't that stereotypical pre-med major. Like I said, I majored in math, and so I didn't have like a lot of the foundation that I think a lot of the other students had, and so I felt that I didn't know as much as people. Like that's a factual statement that since I didn't have the research background, I didn't have the biology background, that there was truth that I was not as prepared, or I wasn't as well versed to start with. But I let that self talk, and like even though that's okay, that's the case. I let it take over me. I let it be my source of truth of like I didn't belong. I didn't. Like they're gonna think you're an idiot. They're gonna whatever. I really struggled to overcome that, and so my biggest regret was that I let myself be like an enemy. Like I couldn't get out of my own head, and I thought that when I left medical school that was gonna change, but it followed me. Yeah, and I still struggle with it in tech today. It is so, and I say that to kind of illustrate that um, medicine may not be all your problems. There could be deeper underlying issues, and maybe you've already realized that. Maybe you've already had that self-talk and that self-awareness of, you know what, like medicine's contributing to it, but it isn't everything. But for me, I didn't acknowledge that. So I think it's important to kind of really like not only evaluate like why you're making the decision, but evaluate yourself and like what part of you is contributing to making this something that I don't want to do. And once you've answered that, now you can answer the aspects of the job that also make it potential job or potential career that also make it not worth it. Um, but again, just to kind of like summarize, like this was all worth it. Like I am, although I've learned a lot that like I am causing my own problems, I don't regret. I think I still made the right decision. I still think that medicine wasn't for me. But I do think it's important for you to evaluate everything from the job to yourself, of why you want to leave medicine. And so, again, I'm happy. I'm at peace. I have more time with my friends, family, for myself. Um, I'm happy with the career I picked. I think it's very fulfilling. It scratches the itches that I wanted to scratch. There are scary parts of it just with AI coming up and seeing how powerful it is and how many white collar jobs it can potentially take. But regardless, even if something like that does happen to where my job is potentially at risk, I'm still confident and have no regrets about the decision. Yeah, and that's really it. If you have any questions, let me know. Hit me up. We can talk still. But yeah, I just thought I'd make this follow up and just kind of illustrate where I'm at, what I've learned, what I'm doing, if I have any regrets, and what they are. So that's it. Peace.